Hello Buttercup, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the May 2024 reading wrap-up. Yes, I read some books. It was not as bad as April, so we are just improving. Thank you so much, Fate, because if I had 2 months in a row, I would have been disappointed. But I chose the right books to read in May, and it left me at least a little warm and fuzzy inside. Not ecstatic, but warm and fuzzy. So the first book, which was the first book for the month and the Messed Up Book Club, it's Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, and I gave that 3 stars. It was a bit ridiculous. So I was amused, but you can't think about it deeply in any sense of realism or else you're gonna give it 1 or 2 stars. But yeah, I was amused, so I'll give it 3, but it's a low 3. Number 2, Dragons Don't Eat Meat by Kim McDougall, and that was 4 stars. That is a self-published urban fantasy writer, and I just wanted to read more urban fantasy from indie writers, so I picked that one up last Christmas. Yes, it took some time, but then again, I have like a lot of books on my TBR, so that was the one that I grabbed for urban fantasy, and I enjoyed it. Number 3 is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I gave that 4 stars, and that was her first ever book. I can see the growth, so that's why I was in 5 stars. The main character, she wasn't the best, but she kept me interested, and that is what counts. I don't need to relate to the main character, but you need to keep me interested or fascinated, or else the book's not going to work for me. And I did a book review on Forever Interrupted, so if you're interested in that, you can look it up. Number 4 is Amazon Keywords for Books by Dale L. Roberts, and that's not rated because it's a nonfiction book. And I did a talk with Andy and Shannon, shout out to Andy and Shannon, on Shannon's channel, and that's coming out like June 15th, I think, about this book. That's why I read it. And so look out for that book if you're a writer and you're interested in Amazon Keywords and how to go about doing that successfully. Number 5, American Narcissist by Chandler Morris, and that's a 5-star read. And that was the second book for the Messed Up Book Club in the month of May. This is the first 5 stars for Chandler. I also did a book review on that. Check it out, okay? It's short and sweet, but it gets to the point. I love to see it. I love Chandler Morrison. He is a favorite author of mine. I couldn't give his other splatterpunk extreme horror books 5 stars. I wasn't comfortable with that, but American Narcissist is not splatterpunk. It is like satirical California noir literary fiction. It's interesting. And I appreciate things that are not honestly like to market, or the writer is like, you know, I'm kind of done with splatterpunk for now, or maybe forever, I don't know. But I'm going to try something new. I'm going to write from the heart, and that is American Narcissist. It's still messed up, but it's not gory, gruesome, disgusting, you know what I'm saying? So actually, if you want to try out a Chandler Morrison book, but you don't like splatterpunk, then American Narcissist would be where it's at. Number 6, Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sunanto, and that is 2 stars. Too much was going on here. It was 33% comedy, 33% crime, and 33% romance. What are we doing? There was a lot of potential, and that's why I gave it 2 stars, but sometimes a book can have too much of many things. Number 7, The Guncle Abroad by Stephen Rowley. That's a 5-star as well. That's a second book in the Guncle series. The first book is titled The Guncle. It's pretty straightforward. And I gave that book 5 out of 5 stars as well. And I did a book review on The Guncle, so you can check that out. I'm probably not going to do a book review on The Gunker Abroad because it's a second book, and I have noticed that people don't watch second, third, fourth, whatever individual book reviews on my channel. And I get why, because you have to read the first book or else it's not gonna make sense. I totally get y'all, I understand. So still up in the air, probably not, but it's a 5-star read, so I suggest going to read The Gunkel and then The Gunkel Abroad. And finally, number 8 is Shifting Shadows by Patricia Briggs, and that's 4 stars. That is all of Patricia's urban fantasy books in the Mercy Thompson world in one book. It's her own anthology, and I appreciate that because I read Cry Wolf, which is that a novella? Short story? It's like borderline novella. It's pretty long, but it's recommended to read that story before going into the Alpha and Omega book series. And so I was struggling to find it, and I was happy to see that it was in this anthology of hers. I'm like, crushed it, thank you. Okay, and now I can start the Alpha and Omega book series, but actually I'm waiting because it's really long as well. Mercy Thompson is a long series, and Alpha and Omega is very long too, so I'm gonna hold off on that until I get through some of my books. And I usually gave, some of the stories are 3 stars, a lot of the stories are 4 stars, and then I gave 1 5-star to Roses in Winter, and it's about Aesol and Kara is the 10-year-old girl that is forcibly turned into a werewolf, but she survives, and so she's with Bran, and that was just very, very touching. So that was my favorite one. And there's only actually 1 Mercy story. It's the last story, so that was interesting. Everyone else is either small characters or side characters in Mercy Thompson's book series. And the ones that were 3 stars, I'm like, I don't even remember who you all were. There were a couple of like, who are you? Oh, I don't really care, but this is a good story, but I don't really care. It's fine. Like, there's a lot of short stories in Shifting Shadows. So I just wanted something fun, entertaining. I know I'll like it overall, or enjoy it, I should say. Like, enjoy. I needed something to wrap up the May reading that I knew would be good. You know how that works? Because you don't want to end on a bad note. I mean, maybe sometimes you do, but I don't want to. Especially not trying to replicate April's reading, because that wasn't good. So I went with something I knew, and Patricia Briggs does deliver, at least with urban fantasy. No idea about her dragon stuff. Didn't know that she wrote about dragons. At least the dragons on those book covers signify dragons. I might be interested in that after I get through the urban fantasy, who knows, but I know she can tell a great story, so that means I'm interested. I did not DNF any books this month. Very happy about that. The one book that I just can't seem to finish, but I'm enjoying, but I can't seem to finish, is Bunny by Mona Awad. I'm still reading it. Yeah, I have moved it up to my office, and I'm gonna see if I can read on lunch breaks or something. It was not working for me reading before bed. I want to unwind. I don't want to feel high. So that's basically what Bunny is all about. Just like being high and confused. Yeah, that's what it is. So still working on that one. I hope to get it by May. I mean, not May, June. Yeah, when I mention Bunny, like, my brain goes boop, 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 and I don't even know what's going on. So we'll just see about that book. I don't know. I'm not DNFing it. It's interesting, like I said, but it's just very freaking weird. Sometimes you need weird. I don't know if I need weird right now, but we're going for it. Thank you so much for watching my May 2024 reading wrap up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.